Hello everyone, welcome back to another 2v2 Warhammer battle. This is going to be double greenskins versus the dwarves and the Empire, who are deployed kind of far back in their deployment zone. Me and my allies started originally off right here. Their deployment zone is like, I think at the very edge right there and like this. So they probably want an ample time to use a bunch of the cannons and artillery pieces that they have. But we'll see how that turns out. So for my army here, I have a front line of Orc boys with 2 Gobbo spearmen on the flank, slightly upgraded. My command squad is an Orc war boss, Orc shaman, and then double Goblin big bosses. I have 2 Orc chariots, 3 trolls, 2 of these squid curs, and then a Goblin wolf rider up here. My ally has a front line of Night Goblins, including the 2 renowned ones. We have a Archer line of Night Goblins, including the renowned ones. Skarsnik, the Night Goblin Shaman, 3 artillery pieces, 2 of the Nasty Skulkers, and then they also have a group of Trolls and Durkix Squigs over here. The enemy, for the Dwarf, you have a front line of Dwarf Warriors, including the renowned one, Grumbling Guard, Dragonback Slayers, Rune Lord, Runesmith, Master Engineer, 2 Quarrelers, and then a Uthar's Raiders. Cannon and Goblobber right here, and then the human player brought 2 handgunners, a bunch of spearmen, I think like 4 or 5 of them, and most of their power lies in the artillery. They have 2 Hellstorm rocket batteries and 2 mortars, right? Yeah, 2 mortars. They're being led by a warrior priest, a bright wizard, celestial wizard, and a general of the Empire, all unmounted, I think? Yeah, all unmounted. So most of their firepower is in the siege equipment. Now, the funny thing is that my ally brought an almost all stealth army, so like all this shit can't really see what they want to shoot, especially the Hellstorm rocket batteries. And my army, since they had nobody deployed on this side, is being hidden by this ridgeline right here and this piece of terrain right there. So they can't even fire at my Orc boys, which is beautiful. It's beautiful. There's so much money sitting right here, especially in these Hellstorm rocket batteries, which they are now moving up. I'm not entirely sure why. But they can't even see like the actual forces that they want those things to shoot at. Now the cannons, though, you can see them firing at the Hammer of Gork over here, doing some good damage. Or I'm sorry, that's the Goblobber firing at the Hammer of Gork. The Dwarf player was originally positioned right here, but they are going to shift to face off against the Night Goblin army that is pushing up. My army, as I told my ally, I did one of these. I was like, doing this. So I'm going to be approaching up this way. My Orc chariot's going to swing right around the flank. This group's going to swing right around the flank, and then my hero squad's going to go right up the middle. You see the Night Goblin Shaman getting things kicked off early with whatever this thing is, Curse of the Big Bad Moon, I think. And this is a lot of archers firing into these Dwarf Warriors, and they are getting pounded, actually. But they are being lowered in terms of armor by the Durusty arrows, of course, so that is assisting all the other Night Goblin archers and just murdering them. So the Dwarf army is going to slowly be marching up. The Runesmith kicked off their buffs a little early because no one's targeting these units. And then the handgunners of the Empire player gets a little close. So I'm just going to be like, bloop, 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 bloop. And so we're going to chase them off and do whatever damage we can, as the Orc army is still kind of getting into position. Chariot swinging around into position over there. And they're just kind of going down the line. Now the Night Goblos are hitting the Warriors Dragonfire Pass, and these Dwarf Warriors are going to throw in some Nasty Skulkers to hold them in place. Launching some of those fanatics right there, which they always look pretty cool. And so now my ally is now in combat. They are throwing everything they have into the Dwarf line. And honestly, I don't have that much to fight. I'm going to do some damage to these handgunners, keep them from shooting. But these spearmen are going to kind of kill my Wolf Riders. That's fine. We're going to throw in a Gobbo Spearman. Orc, Orc, Orc. And then again, we're just going to go like this with this group. Because I don't really need the... Actually, no, I'm sorry. I hit the artillery pieces with this group. As we pin their infantry with our Orc boys, we're going to get our command squad against their general of the Empire. I cast a Here We Go on these Orc boys, and then we're going to wah and do the defensive buff when we get in there right there. Chariot swung wide around the flanks, so we're getting into those Quarrelers, and then we're going to go straight through the cannon and into the Uthar's Raiders and just kind of keep doing this with the chariots. My Dwarf enemy here is just taking a beating from these Night Goblins that are being supported by the Nasty Skulkers and all of this Archer firepower and the artillery pieces that are still operational, and the Doomdiver catapults are just pounding this Dwarf line. I guess more specifically, they're pounding the Goblobber, which I think is right now chasing the Hammer of Gork crew, what I imagine, since they are moving forward. My Monster crew is just tearing the cannons and artillery pieces to bits, and the Orc boys, all they have to do is fight a bunch of spearmen, so that's a fight that they can easily win. Gobbo's getting into the 2 handgunners, chariots coming in, and we're just going to go back and forth again with the chariots, just doing all damage we can to the Dwarven's ranged crew. Had to pull out the Orc Shaman here a little bit because they were getting targeted by the Warrior Priest and the General of the Empire. So now my Orc War Boss and the two Goblin Big Bosses are on him. I cast the Fist of Gork on the Orc War Boss to try and make that fight more smooth. Right now, Orc Boy and a Gobbo are dealing with some Dragonback Slayers, which are way over here and not with their actual main army over here. And again, Sherry is just having a field day back here because there's nothing over there that can stop them. And the Dwarf Warrior line is just being chewed to pieces. So now it's just kind of leaving them with their leadership as they have to fight against Skarsnik and those nasty Skulkers, the Warlord's boys, all those renowned units, and still getting pounded by the two Doomdiver catapults here. Orc Boy is going to take up the charge of dealing with these handgunners. Gobbo's going to come over here. My Monster Squad, I wanted them to deal with the artillery piece and then immediately go over here and assist my ally because they were the ones fighting against all the armored, but my ally just crushed them. With the Rusty Arrows and the armor piercing of the Gobbos there, like, they destroyed that front line of Dwarf Warriors, so they didn't even need my monsters. I mean, also they did have trolls over here somewhere. There they are. I'm not sure who they were dealing with, maybe these Dwarf Warriors. But yeah, like, I kind of came in late and not needed. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to bypass the Empire opponent and just help my ally, but I wanted to kill those artillery pieces first. And nope. My ally's Gobbo army they were fine. They were more than fine. They crushed the Dwarf army. My Chariot's now crushing the Quarrelers, the Uthar Raiders back there, so they are now shattered. General of the Empire is now dead, chased down by Orc Warboss, so now we're on their Bright Wizard and Celestial Wizard. Only thing remaining now really is the Dragonback Slayers. And that is a wah victory. So yeah, they invested so much money in their artillery pieces, but their artillery pieces were way down. Like, this is where their army was. They screwed themselves by trying to put in the back corner of their deployment zone because they deployed right here. And if you look at the terrain, it's kind of hard now because I can't scroll down. But you can see, like, from here, the vantage point, because line of sight is a thing in this game. They can't see my entire army because of this giant ridgeline that if they deployed at least somebody on top of, they could have had a spotter for all those Hellstorm rockets that could have just, like, massacred my Orc Boy line by the time that they would have arrived to the battle, and that would have, well, helped them at the very least. But they kind of screwed themselves because they were down here fighting, like, the only army that they could see was all stalked, which is, like, just, you know, just fucking beautiful. That they only could see, like, they had line of sight on the stalking army in Skarsnik, which they actually did fire a couple rounds of Hellstorm into Skarsnik because he's not stalking. But yeah, like, and they couldn't see me because their positioning didn't allow that because of line of sight issues. So, like, it just worked out perfectly. We came over the ridge, just wahing into their face. They didn't have time to shoot us with their artillery. They didn't have time to shoot my allies' Gobbo army with artillery because they couldn't even see them. And so it was, turned out to be like the perfect combination. So my Orc Boy line did really well because they fought against a bunch of spearmen. The Gobbos were chasing a bunch of handgunners and spearmen. The command squad here killed the general, and we're going to kill the casters. These guys killed the artillery crew. These ones were dealing with the Quarrelers and Uthar's Raiders really well. My ally just crushed the Dwarven front line single-handedly, basically. So they did really well there. And then for the enemy player, they just brought so much money invested into artillery that literally just did nothing because they couldn't see anybody. And it was so beautiful. Like, it sucks for them. It really does. In a more flat, like if this was multiplayer Crossroads map or something, and 3 Hellstorm rocket batteries and 2 mortars are firing on our position, on my Orc Boys, like my front line would have been crushed before I even got into the battle, which would have sucked. But it lined up perfectly. It was like a series of dominoes, just perfectly lined up, and you just watch them all fall down. But imagine instead of dominoes, it's like a bunch of Empire spearmen and artillery crew just being knocked over one after the other. It's a thing of beauty. But anyway, that's gonna be this battle. So let's go watch a cinematic view. Big Bad Moon. I got my scars too. the dwarves getting destroyed by night goblin archers. It's a beautiful thing. These Gobbos. Oh.
Yes, boss. All right. Yes.
Chariots. A lot of Gobbos left there. I don't see many dwarves though. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you all in the next one. Take care.